It's noon on Monday, April 4th, and this is news that you can use from YAA with your hosts, Zach and Ray. And before you say a word,
I'm all ears.
Today,
I'm all ears, but I said,
today, historically, is the most important day of the year. And the reason for that is because my dear friend, Miss Allison Cohen, it's her birthday today.
That's not the most important day of the year.
Your old boss.
Your old boss.
It is to her.
Your old boss. Why isn't my birthday the most important day of the year?
It is.
Why not your sister? My sister. Your
it
daughter.
Is.
Your birthday even.
Just trying to make Allison feel
It's your
good.
old boss. She's not your current boss. I'm your... So it's Monday.
Yeah, April 4th.
Hello to everyone. So here's the deal, Pops. Let's kick things off with the big story that released Friday afternoon from the Federal Trade Commission. How's that sound?
Okay.
We've got the write-up back on joinyaa.com. Thank you, Justin, for pulling this up first thing this morning. Napleton, Napleton Automotive Group fined $10 million by the Federal Trade Commission for adding on BS fees, bogus crapola, onto car deals.
Wow.
Not onto some car
Is that
deals.
A technical term? Bogus crapola?
83% of buyers at Napleton's dealerships,
Yeah.
at least the 8 that were part of this. Is it fair? What do you call this? This complaint? This capture of money? What the hell's the
finding?
Word? Finding.
Okay.
83% of buyers experience these fees.
Yes.
Add-ons up to $4,000. So Napleton is going to pay $10 million. That money's going to go back to customers who were taking advantage.
How's the FTC going to decide how to distribute that money?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
And if they paid up to $4,000 worth of fees, what are they going to get? Like $40 back or something like that? But it's nice that there's a fine. It's nice that the FTC is trying to step in and do something. But when you think about it, the Napleton organization has 52 dealerships. You take that $10 million and you divide it by 52 dealerships.
To be fair, though, it was 8 that are a part of this, and it was the state of Illinois, their attorneys general, who brought it to justice.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they've got 52 dealerships, and I bet you, if I was the Napleton Group, I would spread that $10 million amongst the 52 dealerships, and at that point, it totals out a little over $192,000 per dealership. And I'm just guessing that each one of those Napleton stores typically spends a lot of money in advertising, say $500,000 to a couple $1 million a year, and this is just like a blip.
I understand.
Yes,
but I do
think nothing to them. They're thinking that it was well worth getting all that extra money and using it all this time before this complaint was filed and before they actually had to pay back $10 million.
Let's dig into it just a little bit. I mean, the complaint was because a number of customers in the state of Illinois contacted the state's attorneys general and said, hey, I was pressured into, and I didn't have a choice not to purchase some add-ons on a vehicle, right? Like that was what the complaint was, and that's where we got the $10 million from. That happens not only at Napleton stores. You can get Napleton anywhere. You can get Napleton at AutoNation. You can get Napleton at Lithia. You can get Napleton at Penske. You can get Napleton across the board. Yeah. And so what I don't understand is, and I like to look at this chart from Automotive News, here is from 2020, the highest grossing F&I revenue dealership groups in the country.
Yes.
And these numbers are even higher now than in 2020, obviously.
Yeah, they've gone up quite a bit. Probably 20-30%.
So AutoNation does $1 billion in F&I revenue. Now it's not necessarily fair to equate bogus fees with F&I revenue, but when the quote bogus fees, scam fees from Napleton also included add-ons, then it does start to become a bit more fair to say, okay, if AutoNation's doing $1 billion in F&I revenue, what percentage of that? It was 83% for Napleton. What percentage of that are customers who didn't actually want to buy those things but felt forced and pressured to buy them? What if we did something that was a bit more conservative? What if it was 1 in 4 customers? Do you think that's a fair assessment?
I don't know.
What do you think? I'm putting you on the spot. Do you think it's 1 in 10 customers didn't actually want to buy the products, but they were told, hey, you have to because the interest rate will go up if you don't, or you have to because, you have to? What do you think? 1 in 10 customers experience that?
Yeah, let's say 10. Let's say 20%.
Okay, so let's say it's 1 in 5 customers experience that. Put that into perspective here, folks. That's billions of dollars. Billions.
Billions.
Napleton's on here. Where are they?
Right down
They're
there.
kind of small potatoes, only 123.7 million in F&I revenue.
That was in 2020. Yeah,
So to your point, $10 million as a fine is a drop in the bucket.
exactly.
Because that was 10 million to just account for 8 dealerships, not all 52. Man, and as we've gotten more and more, we're up to 757 dealership reviews, Dad.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to find. You can filter by it. Add condition. Did they require you to purchase protection packages? Did they require you to purchase, so let's say, yep, they required to purchase that. Did they require you to purchase protection packages? Checked. 757 reviews. 43 of them say both they required them to purchase accessories and protection packages. Get rid of the accessories. Numbers up to 71. 1 in 10. And people are in here talking about how they had to buy the
green package.
Green package.
Do you know why it's dubbed the green package?
That,
because
Dad.
it's all the extra money, the green that the dealer's going to make. Yeah.
Plastic door trim.
And wheel repair.
Right. So I think I'm sitting here thinking to myself, for the first time ever, we're seeing some big news headlines. It's a big number. 10 million is a big number. It's a step in the right direction. Yes. It was brought by the Illinois State Attorney General and the FTC. We need to see more of it if it's happening out there.
But I appreciate the fact that Napleton agreed. Them too. That Napleton agreed to pay a $10 million fine.
What was their other option?
But part of the stipulation was that they admitted no guilt, no fault. So that is you talk about BS. That's the BS part of it. Why would a company agree to pay $10 million if they didn't do anything wrong? Okay, so if they did do something wrong, then why don't they admit it? Why doesn't the government get these dealers or whoever when they make settlements like this? Why do they allow the corporations to say?
Because that's the only reason they'll settle.
Well, then sue their asses until you win. Okay, it means nothing to Napleton to have to stroke a check for $10 million, and maybe they don't even have to stroke the check for $10 million. Maybe it's just $1 million a year for 10 years, or maybe it's $500,000 a year for 20 years. I don't know. Okay, but if you actually convicted them of these things, of these egregious criminal activities, that violates their franchise agreements with their dealers.
Okay, let's hit on that
with the manufacturers, and they can have their franchises revoked. But this way, they won't and they can't.
Let's hit on that for a second. Remember all the memos?
Yeah, the memos.
Memo season was among us maybe, I don't know, 2-3 months ago.
8, 10, 12 weeks ago, yeah.
And those memos said, because dealers were doing things that were egregious. If you do this, we can take action against you.
Yeah.
We should, let's just do a quick, I'm doing this on the fly.
Yeah.
And I just pulled up a second ago, actually, who the state's attorney general is in Illinois, Kwame Raoul. We should contact Kwame.
Yeah.
Mr. Raoul.
Yeah.
We should contact them and see if maybe we can get him on the show, honestly.
Yeah.
But let's do this really quick. Napleton dealerships.
Yeah.
Or actually, Dad, better yet.
Yeah.
Justin actually put it right here.
Yeah.
Here are the actual dealerships that were a part of this.
Yes.
So we've got Napleton's Kia of Elmhurst.
Yeah.
Their Arlington Heights Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Yeah.
Another Chrysler Dodge Jeep. Okay, all of their Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram stores and Kia stores.
What does that tell you?
And their Acura store.
What does that? Wow, and their Acura store.
So what's going through my head, Dad, is what's Kia thinking about this? What's Acura thinking about this?
I don't care.
And
because they didn't admit any guilt and there weren't any charges that they were convicted of.
Yeah.
So there's no felonies that go on anybody's records. Okay. But my point is, rather than fine them, suspend their licenses to do business in those states, or better yet, revoke those licenses.
Yeah.
Okay. Force them to sell their businesses. Don't allow them to continue to operate in business.
Yeah, because it's so anti-consumer. It's egregious. Why isn't it a felony?
It probably is, but it isn't unless you're convicted of it. And so it's easier to have actions like this than it is to actually take them to court and prove your case, and win. So, these agencies decide, well, let's just collect the $10 million and we'll get $10 million back to the people that were ripped off. And it's just, there's no real consequences. And as long as there's no real consequences, there's no reason for the bad dealers that do this to stop doing it. This doesn't mean Napleton's going to stop doing it. It just means they're going to pay for it this time around. And maybe in another 10 years, when there's enough complaints and another investigation, maybe in another 10 years, they'll pay another $10 million. But meanwhile, they've raked in much more than that. It ultimately is a slap on the wrist.
I've sent the FTC press release and our car dealer reviews to about a dozen investigative journalists at different local TV stations, just saying, hey, this is going on. We can help you call this stuff out if you want to. And hell, Dad, we're aware of this because we've talked to these people. We've heard from different news reporters, I need to get this cleared by my producer because, car dealers are some of the biggest advertisers on our network.
Yes.
And so it's interesting. We're just in this. That's why it's great that we have platforms like YouTube where we can actually, share the truth about what's going on. All right. I want to come up here to a comment that Igor said. Zach, those memos are pure trash, simply made up manufacturers' press PR. But it's not backed or followed up by any actions from the OEMs and dealers. All know that. Yeah, it's just fascinating when you see a headline as big as $10 million. You'd think maybe Kia would come out and say, we do not condone the actions of Ed Napleton Automotive
They
Group.
could say that. What difference does it make?
No, I know. They're not even going to do it.
Yeah. But even if they did, it wouldn't matter. It's not like they're going to say, oh, well, we're going to bring action against Napleton themselves to try and revoke their franchise agreement. They're not going to do that.
Kenny, my wife and I were asked to leave the local Honda dealer because we kept questioning all the BS fees and mistakes. Please, Kenny, post in the dealer reviews.
Yes.
Like whoever that dealership group is, we need to know. Igor, what do you have to say? Zach, when I ran my automotive group and I received those memos, they went in the trash within 5 minutes for me receiving it. Fortunately, we did honest business, but most dealerships don't. I hear you. I totally get it. Alexander, finance at North Park Subaru offered a tiny lower rate if we bought some dumb coverage we didn't want. We still got the lowest rate at the moment, but we could have been lower if we paid $2 a month more. And that's also, is that illegal? That one's illegal.
Yeah, you can't offer somebody a better rate if they buy product. You can't tie the rate to buying product.
How do we stop this stuff? Anyway, all right.
Well,
I'm not going to go on that soapbox today.
No, we don't stop it. We just
call it out.
Yes, we shine light on it. Okay, and maybe if we shine enough light on it that consumer protection bureaus and states attorney generals and whatever other organizations are out there will start paying a little more attention to it try and do something about it. All we can do is shed the light.
What if we hired lawyers? Like, what if we literally had lawyers on staff that we could help
you couldn't raise enough venture capital. Yeah, we need $100 million for what? Well, we want to have 10, 12, 15 lawyers on staff. No. No.
It's an idea.
Yeah,
all right.
That's a great idea. Maybe we could find some lawyers that would want to do it pro bono.
Yeah. All right. Let's switch gears, Dad. Chip shortage.
So does that mean those are lawyers that like bono?
Oh,
they're pro bono.
Chip shortage
Is that
update.
you too?
Dad.
Stop.
Chip shortage update.
Yeah.
The latest numbers from our friends over at Auto Forecast Solutions. What happened this past week?
More vehicles got taken out of production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still don't see how they can say that they think so far we've had 1.338 million vehicles taken out. And they say it's going to be 2.1 million total. Guys, we're only in April.
We're only in April 4th.
We're only on April 4th.
We've gone through 3 months of the year is really all we've done.
Like there's no way.
So, times that by 4.
Times that by 4.
Yeah.
3 to 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, the story is the same on the new car side. Unfortunately, there's no chip shortage update that's positive. Here you go. Ukraine war cost German automakers 150,000 vehicles just in March.
Okay.
How Toyota is managing an unprecedented global supply chain crisis.
They're not.
Yeah.
Not as well as they would like.
I actually been emailing with David Chow, trying to coordinate for us to do to meet with him next week and film a video with him because we just need his take on it. So many variables and factors have changed. But there's no good news on the chip shortage front, unfortunately.
No, and the reality is, and we've said it before, the chips that automobile manufacturers use, which are the older style chips, which are the least profitable chips for chip makers to make. Those chips are available through third parties at a much higher price, and the manufacturers have chosen not to participate in that market to get them.
We've got here from Turbo, I think a good idea. Maybe they should go on the do not buy from that dealership list. What if, this is a question to everyone, there's 250 people here with us. We appreciate you being here. What if on the car dealer reviews right now, we just have the one page, which shows you all the reviews in one place. And of course you can filter by them.
Yeah.
But what if we created, whoops, that's a tutorial video I shot. You should definitely watch it. What if we created a separate page, like joinya.com/car dealer reviews/naughty? No, okay. That's bad. // bad. I don't know, just like whatever. And we just put the dealerships on here that are tacking on accessories, add-ons, reconditioning fees, not letting you do pre-purchase inspections. Then that page would probably be really useful. That can be like our wall of shame, like do not buy list, something like that, right?
Well, I'm
sitting here thinking that's a good idea.
Speaking of all those lawyers that you wanted to put on payroll, you might want to check and find out what our liability is if we were to do something like that.
Liability, free speech.
Okay, but free speech can wipe out your bank account.
Not caution list. Yeah, the non-consumer friendly list. Yeah. Yes to Okay, I think there's some. I think
the NCF.
The non-consumer
friendly list.
Yeah. Like
the NCFL.
Lemon dealerships. What does WOS stand for? /WOS. The no-go list.
Yeah.
Is there a faction you can have that would link YA's reviews to Google? You go Google and Yelp are crapola, if you ask me. But that's my 2 cents. People either post like the best of the best or the worst of the worst on Google and Yelp.
Well, Yelp, I found, is people. It's just they changed the last letter to P instead of yell. It's YELL because that's all the people on Yelp do is they yell, they bitch, they moan.
Whoa, can't say the B word.
They complain. Those who complain the most. Okay. Go to Yelp.
Anyway, okay, I'll keep. There you go. Yelp. Oh, wall of shame. Wall of shame. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll think about that and I'll come back to the community. And like when you said wall of shame. Okay, cool. I think there's a wall of shame concept, Pops.
Yes.
I think. Okay. Anyway, let's switch gears then to the next story, which ties in with the chip shortage front.
Yes.
I find this to be super fascinating.
Me too.
Nissan considers dealer margin cut on the Aria EV to offset R&D. Nissan is considering trimming dealer margins on the new Aria 300-mile electric crossover arriving in the U.S. this fall.
Yeah.
Why is this public first?
Because Nissan dealers who find this egregious on Nissan's behalf have determined that they're going to make it public.
Yeah, so that's okay. So talk this through. Yeah. When a manufacturer is producing a new vehicle, like when you were working at Acura, they came out with the ZDX. Was your area rep telling you, hey, our margin on the ZDX is X%, and
it's gonna go down because of the research and development that went into designing this vehicle that nobody in America is gonna want to buy.
This is true.
Yeah.
But I guess how does this stuff become public? And this is not how it works, right? This is also a function of the fact that supplies are short.
It becomes public because disgruntled dealers make it public. Okay. And research and development costs are research and development costs for Nissan, not for their dealer group, not for the dealer body. And so to go to your dealer body and say, hey, listen, we're going to cut your margins by 2.5% on these vehicles, the vehicles that are going to require less maintenance and less service work so that your future service department growth is going to, go backwards. We're going to allow you to make even less on these than you do on the other cars to offset our research and development costs. You're going to pay for it. No. Charge the customers more. Don't charge your dealer. the one who's invested 8, 10, 12, 15 million dollars to build the facility,
But what
the
you
one that you're now saying, well, you got to get lifts that'll hold heavier vehicles, and you have to invest in electric charging stations. You're already asking the dealer to make considerable investments. Why do they have to pay for the research and development costs of your vehicle?
Or hear me out here. Don't pass it on to the consumer. Do what other manufacturers have done. And I'm speaking about Tesla. I mean, Tesla didn't make money for a long, long, long time.
Yeah.
Because they ate the costs and they got other people to finance it and they build all sorts of trust with the consumer. Nissan's never going to do that. Nissan's never going to eat the cost of their research and development.
Mercedes-Benz is doing it on some of their vehicles as well.
They're all just going to pinch pennies.
They're lowering the margins on some of their vehicles. It just it frosts my cookies.
It really pissed you off when you saw this one.
It did, and I remember when I was with Mini,
mm-hmm.
and Mini decided that they wanted to charge the dealers money. They wanted the dealers to put in X amount per car to go to a national advertising fund. And I thought to myself, so Mini wants the dealers to pay for Mini's job. That, as a dealer, I mean, I would have said no.
Yeah.
That's your obligation as the manufacturer of this product to figure out how to create, I don't know, some interest in this product.
Yep.
It's not your dealer's responsibility to do your job.
This kind of speaks to the tenuous relationship between the manufacturer and the dealer.
Yeah,
and it's at this time where Ford has kind of paved the way a bit to transition out of the traditional dealership model. It's interesting. It makes you wonder if it's going to last. Everyone thinks that, hey, we're going to move to EVs and we're going to sell differently. I don't see how it's going to be harmonious. Like, the dealerships are obviously going to put up a fight. The manufacturers are going to put up a fight. And then the dealerships are going to take this type of stuff public. Who wins in that situation? No one.
No one wins. No one wins.
Leveraging dealers is not going to be super efficient in the future.
No. And pissing off your dealer body is not usually a good thing for the manufacturer.
Oh.
Okay. They have certain responsibilities. They have certain costs that they need to bear. And I understand that over $500 billion has been committed to moving forward into the EV space by all these manufacturers. But to expect their dealer body to pay for that,
which just means, to be clear, that the consumers are going to pay for it. Because sure, if you take some of the margin away from the ARIA,
then get what's there going to be? Additional fees, additional dealer markups, accessories that are going to have to go in the cars. But you're talking about vehicles where, in traditional dealerships, the service departments produce, the benchmark is you want your service department to produce about 70% to cover 70% of the expenses of the entire dealership. It's known as service absorption.
Yep.
Well, the service side of things is going to get worse when you go to electric vehicles because they require less maintenance. So there's less opportunity for the service department to make money. So you're saying to your dealer body, these vehicles that we're asking you to make an additional investment in, to bring in new tools, new lifts, new this, new that, and then you're not really going to be able to develop the service absorption in that end of the business to make the sale of selling these things profitable to you. It just, those two things don't compute. They don't go well together.
No, and I don't see how the franchise dealer model exists well in this next iteration of vehicles.
I know the manufacturers like to refer to their dealers as their dealer partners, and there is nothing further from the truth, because I remember when I was with Acura, and they used to, and when things were slow, and they would just continue to try and force vehicles down our throats because they wanted to get them off of their line of credit onto ours. And I said to my general manager one day, I said, Jenny, at the end of the year, okay, when we're bleeding red, they're not going to stroke a check to make us whole. Okay? It's not a real partnership. All they care about is them. Okay? And you can't forget that as the dealer.
100%.
So I I don't have the warm and fuzzies for most of the manufacturers.
I hear you loud and clear. Let's jump to the chat for a quick second. Intelligent Car Buying here with us. Appreciate you being here. I oversaw the marketing for GMC for state for 15 years for a state.
Yes.
Oversaw advertising. Every vehicle invoice to a dealer has a 1.5% charge to pay for the advertising and marketing. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We've got here Matt in the chat saying, I just bought a Ford Ranger at MSRP, no added fees, and did not purchase anything in the F&I office. Congratulations. That is awesome. And Tom, thank you for reminding Matt. Please post that on the dealer reviews.
Yes.
That is going to be super helpful to someone else who's in your area who's also looking for a Ford Ranger. Pops.
Yes.
I want to mention a lot of the conversations that we're having are going to be similar conversations we're having over on the YAA Electric channel.
Yes.
Thank you to the 247 people who have subscribed. 1 week from today is the first show.
Yes.
Justin, who is our in-house EV expert. If you read anything on the YAA website under electric vehicles, President Biden using the Defense Production Act, if I scroll down, there's more. Justin
These
is
are all articles that were written by Justin.
What is bidirectional charging? Your questions answered. Justin is an encyclopedia of electric vehicle knowledge over on the YAA Electric channel. Just search YAA Electric. We're going to be talking about these things and more. And we will have a frequent guest. His name is Pops.
Oh, really?
And we'll always get his take. Now, one thing that is happening in the electric world that I thought was interesting, and it also comes with another company who's been in the news over the past year or two.
Yes.
Polestar is going to be supplying EVs to Hertz.
Yes. And and when I saw this headline, I was thinking to myself, who's the biggest Swedish athlete that they can get to do the commercials for this?
If you're not mistaken, Hertz also announced earlier this year that Tesla was going to be supplying them with vehicles. 100,000. And that was also when they came out with a Tom Brady ad campaign.
Yes, yes.
That was pre-retirement, then he retired.
I'm not sure who it is, but there's got to be somebody from Sweden that was big.
So Hertz is going all in on EVs, obviously.
Apparently.
And they're also no longer bankrupt. So there you go.
Yes, yes, and it bodes well for Polestar.
Yep.
Because this is a way to get their name out there. Truth of the matter is they only delivered like 27,000 vehicles last year. So to get an order for 65,000 is a pretty good deal. Initially, it'll be for Europe first, and then I believe coming to this country, you'll be able to rent your Polestars and sometime next year.
I know it's a story we haven't covered on the channel, Pops, but I think Polestar also struck a deal with Starbucks, or maybe that was Volvo. Either Volvo or Polestar struck a deal with Starbucks to put charging stations in at Starbucks.
I thought you were going to tell me for every Polestar you buy, you get
a latte.
A latte grande.
No. But to do charging stations there. Polestar is being pretty aggressive right now to get some market share. They really are.
Yes.
Can I give you a stat really quick?
Okay.
Tesla.
The
bell at the ball.
I keep hearing that.
2% market share in the United States for vehicles sold.
Yeah.
So it's fascinating to me to think like Polestar, they're really going for it. They sold 27,000 cars globally last year.
Yeah.
They are a very small player in a humongous
microscopic
market. They really, really are.
Yes.
Simply Vicent. Will the YAA Electric channel have a separate channel? Yes, just search YAA Electric and subscribe to that channel starting again a week from today.
Yes.
Also a week from today, we're going to have the team from Black Book on with us. Tomorrow, we're going to have the latest Black Book market update.
Yes.
Interested to see what's going on in the used car market. I'll put you on the spot. Do you have any projections or thoughts as to what we might see tomorrow with wholesale used car data?
I think you'll see that the prices have started to go back up again.
Yeah.
That's my.
I wouldn't be surprised if pretty much everything is above that magic red line.
Yes.
We've got here from Space, good lease deals from Polestar, especially in states that have EV rebates. Exactly. I saw actually a success story posted on the YAA community forum. Someone who recently got in their Polestar too and was very happy about that. Felt like they got a good deal. All right, Pops, I think I'll leave it at that, actually, with a quick reminder to everyone that we are here to help. The car search, we've got in transit now that's fully working. The nationwide search as well, so you can search nationwide. You can filter by things like new or hybrid or in transit as well.
Very cool.
We have the extended warranties that we've continued to be selling, which we really appreciate when you buy them through us. And then also the vehicle valuations. If you haven't gotten your vehicle valuation from YAA, we actually did this live on the show Saturday night for
With
your
my
Mini.
car, yeah.
This is not necessarily the trade-in value. This is the retail value.
Yes.
Gives you a really good estimate as to what your car, not what you're going to get from the dealer, not what you're going to get from Carvana, but what they're going to turn around and sell it for. Gives you a really good baseline. So you can actually use it as like a private sale type number.
Yes.
But enter your information here to get access to that. And
what's the charge for that?
That's free. That's free. And we also have, like we've been talking about, the dealer reviews. 2 more added just while we're on the show. I'm going to work on the wall of shame. I also want to work on the good dealer list.
Yes.
Because quite a few of these are getting 10 out of 10. I would recommend them to my friend. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Look at this one. Fantastic people to do business with, and I will definitely work with them again for my next car. Great. We want to celebrate those dealers.
Yes, absolutely.
Honestly, Pops, this is the beginning of how do we build out like a YAA certified dealership? Probably from some of this crowdsourced information, don't you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, Pops. Call it a day.
Let's call it
Monday.
Let's call it Allison Cohen's birthday.
I don't know why. She's your former boss.
She's a dear friend of mine. What can I tell you?
Okay, there you go. That makes sense. If she's a friend, then
she
you
is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm proud to count her as a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your birthday's coming up May 25th. May 25th.
Yeah, May 25th still. Yeah.
All right, guys. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Thank you all. See you tomorrow at noon for more news that you can use from your dear friends at YAA.
That was nice.
Yeah.